Good afternoon, everyone. We warmly welcome you to the talk titled Handlooms, the Vitamin H. Every year on the 7th of August, we celebrate Handloom Day. As you all know, Manam Telugu TAS enthusiastically organizes various activities to commemorate this special day. For instance, we organized Handloom Fashion Show, 6 kilometers Handloom Saree Walk, and put up videos to promote the art of handloom and its artisans. In the same spirit, we have released a promotional video regarding the art of handloom this year. Along with this, we also had the intention of educating ourselves and also those around us about handlooms, its benefits, and how we can contribute to improve the current socio-economic situation of handloom weavers. Since we all have increasingly become health conscious and cultivated habits like eating healthy, home cooked food, along with taking sufficient vitamins, Manam Telugu TAS has thought of adding vitamin H to our diet to enhance our health parameters. This event has been organized with the ever-supporting Singapore Telugu Samajam, Telangana Cultural Society, the Kamala Club Singapore, D Ideas. Now we will play the handloom video released by Indian Ministry of Textile.
जाग रहा है देश मेरा, आंखों में स्वाभिमान है। मेरे देश के बुनकर, तुम्हारी कारीगरी को प्रणाम है, कारीगरी को प्रणाम है।
बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम, तुम हो मेरा स्वाभिमान। बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम, तुम हो मेरा स्वाभिमान। हैंडलूम अपनाएंगे, बुनकर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
बुनकर तुम तपस्या करते हो, धागों में जीवन भरते हो। उस मेहनत को शीश झुकाना है, हमें हैंडलूम अपनाना है।
पहनेंगे हम हैंडलूम, ये संस्कृति एक महान है। मेरे देश के बुनकर, तुम्हारी कारीगरी को प्रणाम है। जाग रहा है देश मेरा, आंखों में स्वाभिमान है। बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम, तुम हो मेरा स्वाभिमान। हैंडलूम अपनाएंगे, बुनकर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
अपने बुनकर, अपनी माटी। चलो बीज एक नया बोते हैं, चलो हैंडलूम को चुनते हैं, चलो अपनी कला को सुनते हैं।
बुनकर तुम्हारे खास हुनर का हम सबको सम्मान है। मेरे देश के बुनकर, तुम्हारी कारीगरी को प्रणाम है। जाग रहा है देश मेरा, आंखों में स्वाभिमान है। बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम, तुम हो भारत की शान। हैंडलूम अपनाएंगे, बुनकर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
कांजीवरम, चंदेरी, मुगा या पश्मीना, उत्तर दक्षिण पूरब पश्चिम, बुनते हैं धागा धागा, कोना कोना।
जिंदा है धरोहर तुमसे ही, तुम संस्कृति हो, संस्कार हो तुम। ये देश चुनरिया बुनते तुम जीवन हो, त्योहार हो तुम। मेरे बुनकर हम साथ तेरे, तुमसे गौरव है, मान है। मेरे देश के बुनकर, तुम्हारी कारीगरी को प्रणाम है। जाग रहा है देश मेरा, आंखों में स्वाभिमान है। बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम, तुम हो मेरी पहचान। हैंडलूम अपनाएंगे, बुनकर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
ये सिर्फ प्रणाम नहीं, सिर्फ एक सम्मान नहीं, एक वादा है, एक सच्चा इरादा है कि हम हैंडलूम का सामान खरीदेंगे ताकि हमारे बुनकरों को मिले उनकी तपस्या का सही फल। इस हैंडलूम दिवस लेते हैं संकल्प, हैंडलूम अपनाएंगे, बुनकर को आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
बुनकर तुझे प्रणाम।
Hope you enjoyed the video. Salute to artisans. Today, we are extremely privileged to have with us Dr. Sharmila Nagraj Nandala, an academic, entrepreneur, and lover of craft and art. She has been bestowed with the Eminent Person Award for the Development of Handlooms in Telangana State on the occasion of the National Handloom Day. Shri K.T. Ramarao, Honorable Cabinet Minister for IT and Industries and Commerce Development, honored Dr. Sharmila Nagaraj Nandala on August 7th this year. She has her doctorate in naturally dyed handlooms. Her doctoral research is titled Effect of Conscious Connective Process in the Supply Chain of Handlooms and Apparel in India, the results of which have proven that organic cotton handlooms dyed in natural dyes are the best as it enhances physical, psychological, and emotional parameters of the wearer. Dr. Sharmila has 30 years of experience working with students of design, industry, grassroots technologies, weavers, and artisans. She is the former director of Oakson School of Arts and Design, who created and built the academic legacy in Telangana. She was also associated with NIFT Hyderabad as an associate professor for a decade. Her efforts have been helped place many students with big brands in India. She also possesses experience with the retailers in the United States, namely Coldwater Creek and Kohl's. She has relentlessly focused on bringing due recognition to handlooms, khadi, indigenous crafts, and design. Her work with artisans and weavers stems from a deeply rooted personal connection with the handmade arts and crafts of India. She is a weaver herself, holding exclusive rights with respect to horoscope weaving in India. She conducts many workshops around motivation and weaving and has evolved in unique series called Therapeutic Weaving and the Word Weaving, which has learned from her mentor Bonnie Tarsus from USA. She is on advisory board of many organizations helping them envision various programs for upliftment and empowerment. She has designed and been involved in exhibitions of various unique handlooms, collaborating with artisans and weavers from all over the country through her design studio. Her constant pursuit is giving young Indians, artisan and weaver children insight into the great Indian tradition and its unlimited treasure of wisdom, science, and spirituality. She sums up her life so far in 3 domains: design, education, empowerment. With that, I will hand over the floor to her and our moderator for the event, Katyayani. Thank you.
Namaskar, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Katyayani, if you want to give some housekeeping rules, do you want to do that?
Hi, yeah, I would just like everyone to make sure that they remain muted for the duration of the talk. If you guys have any questions or anything you would like to clarify with Dr. Sharmila, we have a Q&A session that comes later on, so you can clarify your doubts then. You could also raise your hand or put the question in the chat box, and we will get to it during the Q&A session. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Katya. Can you see my screen? Thank you. Thank you all of you for coming in. It's indeed, it's an amazing time. We all have been home, and some of us are working, some of us are in a hybrid mode. But I think it is a great privilege to be doing such tremendous work online. You know, what we thought earlier was not possible is now so very prevalent, and it's so done so very easily and so gracefully. So thank you so much. I wish to bring in some value to your understanding of handloom and what exactly needs to be looked at. If you have any questions regarding how, what, when, we will take it up one at a time. So thank you so much once again to all the organizers and to my moderator and Anita. So what we're going to do is to understand the handloom, and I'm calling it the vitamin H. Now, I also call handloom the conscious fabric, and I also have a mission, a movement called Change Wardrobe, Change Lives. There are a lot of these movements that are going on around the world. I very truly and honestly believe that each one of us needs to have our own movement, whether or not we are following the other movements. So in this talk, we will look what is so unique about handloom, and more so, I want to propagate this because my own personal experience with handloom has been tremendous. So the whole point of taking handloom as my research project also was my own experience to basically quantify what was there in handloom into data and data analysis, and then give it to the world in a different perspective altogether. And also, why are we talking about cotton? Why are we talking about grassroots technologies? Where is it impacting? How is it impacting? And all this, was very prevalent in India. And some decades ago, it just kind of vanished. So what happened and why did it happen? Okay, can we do something about it? Is there a way to, go back and reverse the entire thing? And can we really heal artisans, craftsmen, or can we heal the earth? So these are the crucial questions. I think each one of us need to really question these. As Anita very rightly said, we are spending so much time in picking the right kind of food, the right kind of products. So somewhere we need to understand that there has to be that kind of consciousness. Those questions need to be asked, even in picking our clothing. So handloom, the vitamin H. We all know there are so many vitamins, right? There are so many vitamins which are crucial for our existence. They are required by the body. And I'm sure in the audience, there might be, doctors and, diet enthusiasts and exercise enthusiasts, constantly looking at how do we perform better, through our physiological development, our, food, and, very consciously picking up food. So I'm adding, there are 13 essential vitamins. I'm adding the 14th. So handloom is your 14th vitamin, and it's the vitamin H. So I'm going to justify why I'm saying this in the next few minutes. So my doctoral research basically is about the goodness of handlooms, the goodness of natural dyes, and the goodness of organic cotton. So you can find this entire doctoral research. If somebody is researching and is intrigued by the whole concept, please go through this link, Krishi Kosh. The whole doctoral research is available to you for study, and I think even for download. This is by the ICAR, the Indian Council for Agricultural Research. So as Anita has already introduced my research topic, it is called the effect of conscious connective processes in the supply chain of handlooms and apparel in India. The whole point of this research is to make the audience understand that there has been a conscious level of input that an artisan was giving the handlooms all the time. Somewhere we missed it. So what exactly can we learn from all this? So if you understand, if you have seen, I mean, in any time of your life, if you have gone to a weaver's place or a potter's place or a sculptor's place, the whole atmosphere is of a very pious, environment. It is not like a work shed. It is not something like a mechanic shed. It looks like a temple. So when you visit them, you see that these potters and sculptors or weavers and any craftsmen for that matter, they really don't do things randomly. They will do things in a very, very ritualistic manner. And somewhere even that is happening even today, but then there is a confusion because there is so much fabric that is available, which is not handloom, which is not khadi. It comes from mills, it comes from various kinds of technological, apparatus. And there is hardly any, what you call human connect. If you look at assembly line, people who are working in industry, especially in, automobiles or telecommunications or whatever, you see that, the entire process happens in an assembly line, and people are making only a part of the entire product. The same thing has happened to clothing now. So when I say handloom and khadi are conscious fabrics, that means that the entire fabric is being woven by the weaver with his absolutely pure intent. And we need to understand that these are not just a few years ago or a few hundred years ago. There are thousands of years ago, what you call evidences, historical evidences from Mohenjo-daro, Harappan excavations, and in Egypt there were so many fabrics that was linen, which is natural fiber, naturally dyed, which was indigo. And basically the whole fabric was of course, in remnants, it is possible to see what exactly was the fabric, how was it woven. Obviously, there was no technology there. So it was hand woven, hand spun and hand woven, and dyes from plant extracts were used for different kinds of, surface ornamentations and dyeing. So we understand, where we come from. We totally understand that there is good intentions, there is good energy, bad energy. No matter how developed or how progressive we are, at some point of time or the other, we do stop and want to understand what are these energies, how are these energies impacting us. For that matter, chota sa, matlab nazar nikalna, dishti tiyedamo, ivanni kuda, we do these things, and we do believe that there is something about it, right? So all this was so beautifully possible in India. It was happening in the shortest supply chain. The farm was there, the spinners were there, the weavers were there, and it was a beautiful circular economy. And what we're talking about now is, those, they seem like big words: sustainability, fair wage, fair trade, ethical business, circular economy, zero waste, and all the R's, the reuse and, reduce, all this. I think India was the pioneer in all this. And somewhere with the industrialization, I think we just got dumped with a lot of products, and especially fabric. And then we just got disconnected from our, locally available fabric. And what Gandhiji did was a simple thing. He just said, boycott foreign goods. And what he envisaged was, with local empowerment comes the economic empowerment. The country will grow into that. So every household used to spin fabric. They used to weave fabric, and it was brilliant. And that used to stay for years. The fabric was so beautiful. And the whole point of our fabric also was handed down. If you ask your grandparents or even your parents, they would tell you that, their wardrobes had very, very minimal, clothing, or even saris or, dhotis and stuff. Why? Because those were really made well. And also there was this huge thing about minimalism. There was no segregation of clothing, like, okay, this is party wear, this is corporate wear, this is casual wear. Those kind of things didn't happen. And people were handing down garments so beautifully from the older ones to the younger ones, and it happened so effortlessly. And also, newly born babies, they were never given new clothes, at least till 3 months. Some households did it for 21 months. Some household did it for 3 months. Some household did it for a year. Now, why so? Because, new clothes have a certain kind of starch or chemical or whatever it is. The newborn skin is very allergic to all this. So what happens when you are using handed down clothing is, because it has been washed, it becomes soft, supple. And also, there is something called good energy. The older ones, gave the things to the younger ones. So all these things were very, very easily followed. Now, these things are being documented, being kind of said loudly in international forums now, as to how do we share, clothing, how do we make clothing local, how do we make clothing a low impact on the earth. For the audience's information, that textile or the clothing industry is the pollutant, is a major pollutant, apart from, it is in fact more than automobile and airways. It is polluting the earth because it has all the sorts of pollution, whether you talk about air pollution and water pollution or ground pollution. textile industry has it all. So, so the whole point of, going global, why is, the developed countries coming to us, or Sri Lanka or Vietnam or Bhutan or Bangladesh, is because we have inexpensive labor, and they are producing lakhs of pieces of garments. And what happens is they pick up the best, in quality, they pick up the best. And what happens to the seconds and, the low quality ones are getting dumped into our local markets. And we are not, I mean, in the sense, you take, for example, any local market, whether it is in India or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, we are not made for those garments. Those garments are made exclusively for those countries who have ordered. But you see that, our women want to wear it, or our men want to wear it. And we are unnecessarily increasing the carbon footprint. What can happen locally, we are, importing, a yarn from somewhere. We are exporting our fiber, importing the yarn and making the fabric, or exporting the yarn, importing the fabric. So unnecessarily there is this, back and forth of, textile logistics, and then it is unnecessarily increasing the carbon footprint. So how can we reduce? Just simply by reinvesting in our rural artisans. You just look around wherever you are living. Can we bring some fabric from our local vicinity? And believe me when I say that every 30, 40, 50 kilometers in India, you will find an artisan pocket. Even if they are not weaving, they would be taking some cotton fabric, doing surface ornamentation like your Lucknow, chicken curry, or kasudi from Karnataka, or kantha from Bengal, or we have beautiful embroideries of Kashmir. So locally there is so much available, and as people who are wanting to invest or wanting to make careers out in clothing also, there is so much to do in the domestic market. I mean, we really don't need to increase the carbon footprint of the clothing. So my research was a research which was a little different from all the researches that happened in the department, ever since its inception. And this was more so connected with the Indianness, with the rituals of the weaving, and the purity of the processes, the purity of water, raw material, everything. So what I claimed was that there is something about our natural resources. There is something about our waters. There is something about our mantras and our leaves and fruits and bark and things like that. So my research used these four, stotras, mantras, and chants. One is Aditya Hrudayam, the other is Totakashtakam, the other is Lalita Sahasranamam, and the last is the Kanakadhara Stotram. So all these four I had recorded in one flow, and then we used to do this as a ritual with every process. So we used to detox our water, we used to detox our raw material, our fiber, our loom space. So what I did was I told them, whatever you were doing as in terms of agarbatti or coconut or whatever, even today when we were start a new project, they'll come with their, little thali, puja thali, and then they'll have everything, and then they'll do, all sorts of things. So we, for every process, we brought that back. And believe me, it had such tremendous impact on the weaving, the weaver spaces, and an amazing journey, and even today my weaver, recollects those moments, and he says that, oh my God, there was so much that happened around your research fabric. So what happened with this was there was detoxing completely of all the things that had to happen around weaving. So with the natural dyes, the project NAIP, the National Agricultural Innovation Project under the ICAR of India, gave me some funding for developing these 12 colors. Earlier, they used to do a lot of colors, but to come into a very specific 12 colors of the color wheel for my research was a feat for the department. So why 12 colors? I'll tell you in a bit. So this is why we needed the 12 colors. Now, my research gave the world a new concept called the horoscope weaving. Now, horoscope weaving is the design of Miss Bonnie Tarsus. And Miss Bonnie Tarsus is weaving since 1960. So this is a very unique, textile design. Now, when I say, when I talk about vitamin H and handloom being conscious fabric and all that, there has to be uniqueness. There has to be uniqueness of the design. So if you look at the uniqueness of designs in India, in Telangana itself, where I come from, every district has a unique weave. Even in Andhra Pradesh, there are so many weaves. And if you look at from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to West Bengal, you will see tremendous variety in either in weaving or surface ornamentation or dyeing processes like your bandhani and ikat and all that stuff. So this was from United States, and I really wanted to incorporate this horoscope weaving into my research as a design element. No, I was not claiming anything, like I was not saying that, I'm going to heal you through my fabric and all that. No, I should be very honest about that. I just said that this is the unique textile design and I am incorporating this. So you can actually, if you're interested in astrology, please look up for astrotheme.com. You can have your, sun sign horoscope, which looks like this, So the sun sign horoscope is 360 degrees of 12 signs of sun signs, and the color wheel, which is also 12 segments. So it kind of sits very well one top of each other. And the uniqueness of horoscope weaving is that it is a repeat. If there are any textile designers or textile experts, they would understand. In the weave, there is something called a repeat. Usually it's a weave repeat when we talk about a fabric, but here this is a color repeat. So because the circle is 360 degrees, we have 360 unique colors which come out of these 12 colors of the color wheel. So if you're not understanding, please do not beat yourself up. This is a little complex, but just try to understand this as a very unique design. And I will show you some pictures how exactly this fabric looks. So this was a beautiful excitement around the whole research, because people have never thought about people have never heard about horoscope weaving in India, and I'm very fortunate that I have exclusive weaving rights outside United States from Ms. Bonnie Tarsus. So we are initiating, some work around this. So how does the horoscope weaving work? The horoscope weaving is a combination and an algorithm of sun signs, that's the 12 sun signs. Then it is also about planets. You have 10 planets. We have not thrown Pluto out for design purposes, the astrology or the space point of view, it is out. But we take 10 planets, and each planet has a color coded to it. And the houses, there are 12 houses in a circle. So we are taking those. So it is an algorithm which has come out of a sun sign, planet, and a house. So, and how does the draft look? The draft looks like this. If you see from point 1 to 360, each one is unique color. Okay, there are no two yarns which are having similar color immediately. And wherever you are seeing these numbers as 1, 2, 3, and then rickracks, this is where the planet and the sign are moving and changing, and there are degrees. I'll show you those one more time. There are degrees in this. If you see, there are 13 degrees, 4 degrees, 12 degrees. So according to that, the calculation has been done. So if anybody is interested, we can take this offline later and we can have a little more conversation about this. So this is a repeat of 360. Now, you might ask me, how is it, relevant to it becoming conscious fabric or handloom being a vitamin H or whatever? Now, my argument is handloom brings in consciousness, and with the consciousness, it kind of uplifts the energy levels of the fabric itself, because the weaver is coming into this with good intent, and anything to do with good intent and with a lot of love and focus is absolutely going to be stunning. I'll give you a simple example of you trying to understand this versus food. I'm sure, each one of you have experienced that particular, dish, which is delicious, from a particular, family member, like your mom. Suppose you say that, your mom makes the best sambar, or your mom makes the best, chole or rabdi or whatever. And there would be like, a list of those. How does that happen? Because moms come into the kitchen with a good intent. They want to feed the family in a certain way. They want to, bring out the best taste. So if you have seen people cooking, I remember my dad making biryani, So every Sunday, if he had to plan biryani, he would go shopping on Saturday because he wanted those ingredients fresh, and he would handpick everything. So the same thing happens around weaving, the same thing happens around dyeing and hand spinning, because they will pick up the best fiber, they will pick up the best, dyeing process or weaving process. Hence, it is the best fabric you can experience. So this is how the horoscope weaving looks. It is a beautiful ray of all the 12 colors, and each of the horoscope, I had 40 subjects, and each of the horoscopes had a different pattern altogether in colors, depending on what the horoscope translated. And this is the most beautiful thing, because this is a signature. This is a signature of you. And Ms. Bonnie very beautifully defines what horoscope is. She says that it is nothing but, the snapshot of the sky when you were born. And how beautiful is that? And how can it be wrong? It is the most beautiful thing that has happened. You have come onto the earth, and that's the beautiful moment. So if you want to have a very precious fabric, and if you want to have a signature fabric or an heirloom, I think this is next to all our beautiful weaves that have happened on earth. So my research took 4 different designs. One is the overall design, the other is half and half and in border, and also like a flag. So the women got to pick, their own design. So some of these designs are here. If you see this is how the horoscope, one repeat 360 yarns looks like. These are the saris which were used in the research. And this was organic cotton, got certified organic cotton, and all of these colors, again, natural dyes. So, when we talk about these, of course, the PhD wants data, and we have to quantify. So for the benefit of the audience, I just want to show what exactly I have proved about handloom, which I have felt for many, many years. Let me tell you, with great pride, I tell you that this is my 35th year of wearing handloom and khadi. I remember I wore, my first khadi kurta, which was 35 rupees, which I got on discount from Khadi Bandar. And that was easily available to us, and there used to be huge discounts. Even now there is huge discounts in, these state-owned handloom shops. And that is also one of the reasons why people are really not excited. I would say that handloom should be a luxury product. It should not be given away on huge discounts. It should be actually given at the right price. When you give it at the right price, you're giving the fair wage to the, the weaver. So what has it quantified? What has the handloom shown? And why am I screaming, so loud about handloom being the conscious fabric and handloom being the vitamin H? Is the quantification came from 2, machines, which was never used for textile research purposes. It was used for alternative medicine. It was used to analyze people's health conditions, and also in determining, if there is anything coming, later. Like it's just a, how do you say? It's like almost having an analysis even before, when you're healthy. You just want to go through the scan and see where exactly you are in your health quotient. So the GDV, it was a non-invasive technology. It's a beautiful technology. Some of you might have heard about Kirlian photography. This is the next step to Kirlian photography. It takes the biometrics, the fingerprints, and then it converts the entire thing into the energy field of a person. And of course, it has a huge algorithm which converts the fingerprints into the thing. So if you see here, these are on the left side, you will see the 10 fingerprints. And these fingerprints will tell you where exactly, is the goodness, or is there anything which needs to be taken care of. And people who understand, what you call acupressure, acupuncture, all these things, they say that, the 10 finger tips are the root to the entire physiological system. So each fingertip is connected to your organ and body part. So if you see on the right, that was my first scan through GDV. I claimed to be healthy at that time. And I said that, okay, you take my scan. And then after the scan, the person who took my scan said, you know what, you might want to check your throat. And I said, no, I'm perfectly fine. He said, no, check your throat. So I did check. I had a thyroid issue at that time going on, and I was on certain medication. And I told my doctor, I want to check my, thyroid tests and actually come down on my medication. So he said, yeah, look at that. You're showing some different readings in your throat. So of course, he was a medical practitioner, so he could do that. But I was not using this for that angle of it. I was using it completely for energy field. So the next 3 slides, if you look at, this is what Handloom does. If you see the before, now the before is, I asked them to use any normal cotton fabrics. We had taken 3 readings in the morning, afternoon, and night in the evening. And we had taken before readings and after readings. Now the before readings, the people were wearing normal cotton clothes, whatever they were wearing regularly. Some of them didn't pay attention. They came in synthetic clothing as well. And then the next few days later, we did the organic cotton, naturally dyed handloom fabrics. And that gave this. You can actually see how starkly the energy fields have, kind of improved in the down portion, which is showing with the arrow orange. Now, if you look at the middle slide, this is absolutely starkly, visible. And here we have also, again, 2 readings. One is the physiological well-being and the other is the emotional well-being. So if you see the last slide on the right side, this is the scan of a male person. So you see that, the physiological is, starkly different, enhanced, but the emotional is like, okay. Now it says something about this, because men really don't emotionally connect largely to the clothing like how women do. So we did a huge parallel study about this as well, and where we showed that, how, emotional, how women are attached to their clothing, and a piece of clothing or a new clothing, how they are emotionally attached, and how they emotionally, kind of get enhanced. They feel elevated, they feel tall, they feel beautiful, wearing new clothes or a certain kind of clothing. So this entire thing came from the, biometrics of GDV. So of course, in the research, language, they say significant, not significant. So this was a significant contribution to the energy fields of people before and after. And also, this is just only to give you some, some more enhancement over the GDV, though I did not use this in my research. The picture which is there below with circles, this actually shows that, the line, the strong line, that needs to be inside the green circle. If you are in the green circle, that means you are, healthy, you are doing okay. If it goes inside to the red, it's alarming, you need to run to the doctor. If it's outside, you need to still, take care. It is not an emergency situation, but you can do, whatever you have to do as rejuvenation, meditation, yoga, gymming, whatever, right? And also the another beautiful aspect of GDV was it also gave information about chakras. Now, I'm just sharing one screen, but this also, I did not use it in my research. I just said that these are possible. So my fabric also enhanced, the chakra alignment. If you see these striped ones were the earlier positions, and when they wore the organic cotton, naturally dyed handloom, it almost kind of getting aligned in a certain way. Though I'm not claiming anything, I have data I could write more, papers around this. In the last webinar, somebody asked, can you suggest that these particular colors will enhance the mood and all that? I said, yes, it is possible. We should look at, and then maybe decode horoscope weaving into how to heal people. That angle also can come out. So the other one was the EIS. This is the Electro Interstitial Scanner. It is also, again, a non-invasive technology which uses pulse meter and electrodes and all that, and it gives 69 health parameters. This is a huge health study, but I did not take this completely. I just took about 33 parameters from here, which was directly connected to textile analysis. So that showed also significant result. There is a good score, through this machine, there is a good score that comes out, which is called the Homeostasis Score, which is actually the total well-being of the person. So even here, 33 parameters out of 33 parameters, 15 parameters showed significant results, again, related to skin, health and emotional aspect and all that. So it was amazing to, quantify this in terms of what it was doing to people, even without people acknowledging it. A lot of people don't acknowledge this. Now, this is the time when we consciously contribute to the artisan. We think that we are contributing, but actually this fabric is contributing to your wellness, your well-being, and your, health-related quotient. So what happened with this research was we really nailed it down that the organic cotton, of course, even if it is cotton, it is good. Now, why I say cotton or natural fibers is, you need to understand that when you're using natural fibers, you are directly impacting two sectors of business. One is the artisans community, the other is the farmers community. So if you're using natural fibers like cotton, linen, hemp and silk and all that, directly impacts the farmer. So when you are asking for more cotton, there is more cotton grown on the field. When you ask for silk, of course, there is a different debate about silk going on that we will not take, but at least people who want to have silk, they have to have mulberry leaves, they have to have oak leaves or apple tree leaves. So that cultivation also happens simultaneously. And, our farmers need to be engaged too, as much as our artisans. So we are such a rural, in India, we are so rural oriented and so agriculture oriented. So if we can just handhold a little bit of craft, I think it comes back into a beautiful circle of artisans, farmers, consumers, and good economy. So from here, we took a lot of, insights into what exactly can be done to make people understand that, why they have to invest in handloom or khadi. Here, I want to explain a little bit about how do you differentiate between handloom and khadi and normal cotton to handloom cotton. Basically, if you just understand khadi and handloom, khadi is a hand spun yarn and hand woven fabric. Handloom is where the yarn comes from the mills, the spinning mills. I'm sure you would have heard about spinning mills giving yarns. Yarn is different from thread. Yarn is always used in weaving. Thread is used for different purposes like sewing, tying, whatever you want to call it. It is of different thicknesses and it will be made for a certain end use. But yarn, again, is of different sizes. The bigger the number, suppose if I say 80s count, it is finer. When I say 20s count, it is thicker. So it is like smaller number, thicker, higher number, fine. So just imagine, our artisans, our weavers are weaving with somewhere between 4,000 to 5,000 of these threads. And they are so beautiful. They will never write it down. They have it in their mind, and they weave it so beautifully. And you just ask him, okay, fine, now we are weaving this. Now, how do we do the costing? They'll just say, wo to aapko pata hai, madam, hum nahi kar sakte wo aap kijiye. So no matter how greatly they do the math around the weaving, they will not be able to, kind of price it properly. So fair trade or fair pricing comes from the consumer. You don't want to go into a handloom exhibition or a handloom store and bargain. You don't want to do that. Do you go into a restaurant and do you bargain on the menu pricing? You don't do that, right? Or you go to a mall and you buy, a Chanel or a Louis Vuitton, and you don't bargain there. Now, why are we bargaining with our artisans? Why are we bargaining with our farmers? We need to, kind of ask them, how can we make your life better? So a loom is basically, it is different looms. If you again see from, all the parts of India and all parts of the world, there are different kinds of hand looms. You must have seen the beautiful backstrap looms of Northeast, and this, what you're seeing on the left side, is a frame loom. There is pit loom as well, where the weaver's legs are in a pit, because that is only for making, a beautiful arrangement in the house. So when they are not weaving, they will just tie the warp and just hang it on the loom, and the rest of the, house is there for them to use, sleep, play, for children's play and stuff like that. So there are different kinds of looms. And as far as the mills are concerned, there is the huge technology that has come up. You have the mills, you have the power looms, you have the laser jet, ink jet, and all sorts of water jet, shuttleless looms, all those sorts are happening. And when these machines are loaded, they are loaded with like 1,000 meters, 10,000 meters of fabric, and the machine goes on, khad, 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 khad. Whereas, the hand looms, for every 50 meters, or for that matter, maybe, if some looms can take about 100 to 200 meters, but by and large, weavers use 20 meters, 30 meters, 4 saris, 5 saris. So every 5 saris, you are able to make a new design. So isn't it beautiful? I mean, even if you go to one particular weaver and you want to adopt that weaver and ask him to keep going, for every 5 saris, you're going to get a unique fabric, right? So this particular horoscope weaving was showcased in the International Workshop for Natural Dyes, which happened in India. And it was very beautifully acknowledged. And we have taken this into blessing scarves. Horoscope weaving is a complex weave, as you have seen. But Ms. Bonnie really warned me. She said, no, this is not the fabric which you want to, kind of do multiples. But I said, let me try, because I also wanted to, kind of do a back and forth from United States to India. And I wanted to, kind of have her technique being woven continuously here. So we made few horoscopes. Like if you see here, this particular horoscope is Dalai Lama horoscope. And I've taken this horoscope to horoscope weaving to different pockets. Like I have taken it to Pochampalli and Hindupur, and also my weaver in Hyderabad. So what we did was we were trying to incorporate this horoscope weaving with that particular area's speciality. So the border would come from the area. So if you see here, it is Pochampalli border. Here, if you see, it is from Hindupur. It is a jacquard, and we had evolved the lotus. So lotus is another, beautiful flower which connects directly to our spirituality or our Indianness. And this particular thing is Gandhiji's horoscope. And we tried to do, again, Gandhiji's horoscope in Khadi. And we did that also very beautifully. So recently in March, for the Women's Day program, at one of the centers here, I displayed an art installation for the complete horoscope weaving. And what you see as sculptures is from Sri Sivramachari, who's the scrap sculpture artist in Hyderabad. He's no more. This was my tribute to him as well. And his craft is all over the city, and a lot of signals and a lot of good spots have been used to install his scrap installations. So this was in March, and that's Vijay Lakshmi Garu, the mayor of Hyderabad. She was there to inaugurate. So basically what I'm trying to say here, while I'm talking about horoscope weaving, or I'm talking about organic cotton or natural dyes, is there is this moment in life right now for all of us where we want to really stop, reflect, and make choices. Like how we have consciously tried to make changes around our work situations or our food situations. I would like all of us to pause and ask few questions. Now, I'm not going to give you these questions. I'm going to say that you ask your own questions. Make some 5 good questions and ask these 5 good questions like why, what, when, how, and, all these questions as to whether this particular fabric or clothing, whatever you are picking, is giving you a tick mark. Yes, it is a good fabric. It is not, impacting the environment. It is a fair trade fabric or whatever it is. There are a lot of movements going on around the world, but I think now is the time where people have to have their own movement for their own well-being. And if you take one step further, you will be contributing to a better earth and a better, and we can leave this earth better for our children. So Ms. Bonnie continues to weave even today. And you can actually visit her work at bonnietarsus.com. And I'm trying to reinitiate this work, and it will be a very, very personalized weaving. If anybody wants to get this woven, it has to be completely very well understood. It is not like you come into the store and you pick and it will be readily available. It's not going to happen like this. It needs to be commissioned in a certain way. And it is going to take time. It is going to take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So you have to really, really plan and think about what exactly the fabric is going to be, whether it is going to be a shawl or a sari or a dress material, whatever it is. So there is scope. There is scope for all of us, to contribute, to help, support, and also to, I would say adopt a farmer or adopt an artisan or a weaver, and try and see and make those very responsible and conscious decisions where can I contribute? Can I use this instead of mass-produced product? Can I use this exclusively handcrafted product for gifting, or for that matter, for personal consumption? It might just be a little more than a mass manufactured product, maybe 10 to 25% more than what you get as, as hundreds and thousands of pieces. But I'm telling you, it will be worth your money. It will be worth that effort, because that particular thing can stay for a very, very long time. And I'm sure in this audience, everybody has, especially people who are above 35, 40 years, you would have encountered one piece of such kind of fabric, which you would have used it for 25 years, 30 years. I have done many, many of those fabrics are there, and especially bed sheets and bed covers and things like that. So it is possible. Whether you are ready to contribute is, your effort. So thank you so much. And I open the floor for questions after Katya. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that insightful presentation, Dr. Sharmila. I've grown up watching generations of women and men around me appreciate, don, and invest in the handloom industry. And being able to learn about it from our esteemed guest was really a privilege. It definitely opens up a whole new dimension of clothing unexplored, especially for my generation, but of course for all participants of all ages in the audience we have here today. In the age of consumption and mindless buying that we live in today, I definitely take part in that from time to time. It is time that we think about what we buy, where we buy, and its impact on the environment. The idea of treating the clothes we wear and the way we wear it in a ritualistic manner, where we are intentional and conscious of our interactions with the materials we come into contact with, was so interesting, and it's something that I'll definitely go on to explore personally. Again, many of the topics that are fervently discussed amongst my generation, like pollution, one second, yeah, sorry. Okay, so just like pollution, waste management, fair wage, dignity of labor, conscious consumption, go back to how we produce and consume our basic needs. And handloom is something that we should explore in this endeavor to overcome these issues. Reinvesting in our rural artisans and supporting those with generations of art, talent, and hard work at their fingertips seems to be an ideal way to do so, in my opinion, at least. It was also so interesting to learn about how the shlokas and stotrams that I hear on a daily basis, as Amma plays them every morning, and the impact it had on the weaving processes and ultimately on the consumer themselves. Directing the emphasis onto the intent behind the creator of the art and how that translates to the product itself is something that I really could relate to as a dancer and an art enthusiast. And it'll definitely be something that I keep in mind next time I'm looking to purchase clothing for myself. The relationship between the materials and the ideas we interact with on a daily basis, in that we wear these materials on our body and our chakras and frequencies, is also another thing to add to the list to learn about in my personal journey towards sustainably shopping and being intentional with my purchases. I had never really explored or bothered to understand these ideas, to be honest, but my interest has definitely been piqued now from this 45 minutes, from these 45 minutes. So I'm sure many of us have questions we would love to have you answer. For those who would like to use this opportunity to ask a question regarding the topics that Dr. Sharmila has shared today, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box. Otherwise, you could raise your hand on Zoom and unmute yourself and have the dialogue with Dr. Sharmila personally. While you do so, let's enjoy this beautiful song that ties in nicely with the theme of today. So I will attempt to translate this sweet melody for our non-Telugu members now. So the song basically is trying to convey that the art of the handloom is the finest amongst the Indian handicrafts. It has been accustomed to adorn the idols of our goddesses with handloom saris for auspicious occasions, and the wearing of a handloom sari is considered the hallmark of upholding Indian tradition and culture. The intricate art, which can literally fit a 6-meter long sari in a matchbox, is unmatched and peerless in our Indian tradition and history. So I'll just share the video with everyone and we can take a look at it together. Yeah.
నేతరా చేనేతరా చేతి వృత్తిలో మేటిరా నేతరా చేనేతరా చేతి వృత్తిలో మేటిరా శ్రీలక్ష్మీదేవికి చీరను నేసిచ్చినావు కట్టుబొట్టు సంప్రదాయం ఆడవాళ్లకు నేర్పినావు శ్రీలక్ష్మీదేవికి చీరను నేసిచ్చినావు కట్టుబొట్టు సంప్రదాయం ఆడవాళ్లకు నేర్పినావు నేతలోని కండువా మనిషి గౌరవం పెంచగా నైపుణ్యతలో నీకు సాటి ఎవరు లేరురా అక్కి పెట్టలోన చీరే నేసిన ఘనతే నీదిరా అక్కి పెట్టెలో చీరే నేసిన ఘనతే నీదిరా నేసిన ఘనతే నీదిరా నేతరా చేనేతరా చేతి వృత్తిలో మేటిరా నేతరా చేనేతరా చేతి వృత్తిలో మేటిరా ఇది దైవ వృత్తిరా ఇది దైవ వృత్తిరా నీ ఘనతే మేటిరా
Yeah. As mentioned in this video, this beautiful song has been rendered by Miss Shivani Raj and written by Shri Chittipotlu Yadagiri Garu. So now we can carry on with the Q&A. I think we have a couple of questions, but I'm just going to take advantage of my position as moderator and ask a question of my own first before we go on to everyone's. So as someone that lives in Singapore and from, around in the age range of the 20s, I don't really have as easy access to the materials that you were talking about, like khadi and handloom products. So how would you suggest I contribute to the effort to sustainably shopping and wearing clothes that are produced by these weavers?
Thank you for that question. I'm so glad this forum has youngsters like you, because you are going to be the ambassadors. You are going to be the flag bearers of tomorrow, and it is basically your responsibility right now, which will actually nurture the environment. So how could you buy? How could you adopt these sustainable materials? One is almost all the countries have a government showrooms from India. There are a lot of these textile stores that are part of malls and stuff. You might want to check out as to where these are in your own country. Second, thanks to pandemic, as it has given us a lot of challenges, but it has actually opened a lot of opportunities as well. So there are a lot of weavers enterprises and craftsman enterprises which are online, and they are shipping worldwide. So it is great that it can be shipped to your doorstep, and actually it has opened up. The logistics and the shipments have opened up. So I'm sure you will get them at your doorstep. But visiting India, please always do pay a visit to these stores which are having amazing fabrics. And let me tell you something. I think I told you in my presentation that these fabrics shouldn't be given at discount. These need to be given at a fair price so that the price can go back into the weaving community as fair age and ethical business practices. So my request to you is, when you visit India, please do stop at these beautiful stores which are across all states in India, and every state has a weaving store. There are all of these available, and there are online websites which are all over the world. They are shipping, and some of them have been very graceful, and they have started creating exclusive pages for artisans. So you might want to check out these online stores with special artisan mentions. And it's now opened up a different dialogue altogether around the world, and it is picking up, and it's being sold at a very fair price. So these are available. You might want to explore those. It'll take a little effort to spend that kind of time to get the right kind of, what you call the right price, and also to understand whether it is authentic. You might want to check out marks like India handloom mark on the product, or a handloom mark, or a khadi mark. These are the things which will give you, along with your weaver information, it will give you whether it is authentic. So yeah, thank you so much for volunteering to use it. It means a lot to the weaving community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your answer, Dr. Sharmila. I'll just go on to the question in the chat box right now. So maybe I'll combine a couple of the questions that are related to each other so we can cover more questions. So someone asked, is horoscope weaving native to India? And where can we get these horoscope weaving services, if there's any website for online orders or etc.?
Yeah, as I said, horoscope is, of course, astrology is very native to us. We have been doing the Vedic, we do the moon signs. Our horoscopes are, they talk about the moon signs. And what I'm talking about, the sun sign, and it is the original work of Miss Bonnie Tarsus. And these are, as I said, these are not available off the shelf to use it, because it is your horoscope. You need to sit with us to commission this. And also, I would like to say that this particular design is available for you to kind of take it to a level where you want to make maybe 20 pieces, 30 pieces, 100 pieces. Now, how do you do that is basically, suppose you have a guru and you want to, kind of see, gurus will defy that, astrology and all that, they will not believe. But, just to have the guru's presence as a meditative shawl or as a blessing scarf, or for that matter, you are celebrating, say, 100 years of your great grandfather and father or great grandmother, and you want to celebrate those beings, the entire family can have their horoscope commissioned, so that each one member of the family can have a piece of that horoscope as a memory of, that soul. So that is possible. But as of now, no, it is not available in India off the shelf. Miss Bonnie also takes the orders. You can go to bonnietarsus.com and she can commission a piece for you from there. And we can also do the same thing in India. But it has to be a one-on-one. We could have, a virtual talk and things like that. And as I said, it is not just going to be available to you in the next week or something like that. It'll take anywhere between 3 to 6 months because it's a very, very complex weave. Thank you. But it's possible. Please ask the question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sharmila. Ms. Vijaya asked, how do you distinguish between genuine handlooms and maybe handlooms that were mass-produced by machines? Any tips or tricks you can give us?
Yeah, the whole point is, that's actually a very, very genuine, very honest question, Mrs. Vijaya. We know we have this palate, like whatever you eat, your palate tells you that this is good food and this is not good food. Now, how did that intelligence come? It is your own, right? Because you have experienced different things. The same thing, if you pay attention, your clothing also will tell you something, that it is going to sit well next to your skin. Is it feeling really nice or it is not? So I'm sure you have experienced those, cheap synthetic fabrics where you want to wear it for some reason, but then, you want to get out of them as soon as possible. So one particular thing is your own intelligence. You have to awaken your own skin sensitivity and your ability to look at fabrics, compare fabrics. But to make things easier, there is always a handloom mark on the product. And handloom mark, you might want to kind of Google it. There are 2 different handloom marks from India. One is the handloom mark, the other is India handloom. Now, India handloom is basically, it comes with a standard quality authentication. So you can actually look at these 2, you can ask questions, and if there is a number on the tag, you can Google it and you can actually track where the fabric is coming from. Now there is another technology which has been incorporated. The loom is bar tagged. So if the loom bar tag is coming to you, it has to come with the fabric. So if the loom has been bar tagged in the weaving communities, that bar tag comes with the product. And when you just scan the bar tag, it will tell you where it is coming from. It will tell you who the weaver is and all those details. At Kaumudi, we did this. At Kaumudi, we actually took the photograph of the weaver. We put the photograph of the weaver, told people who it was. And even if it is not maybe on the tag, we did back and forth with the consumer as to who wove it, where it came from, and what exactly is the weaver, and that kind of transparency. And also through my research, I had connected the weaver to the wearer and vice versa. Earlier, what would happen is weaver is sitting somewhere, weaver doesn't even know who the wearer is, and the wearer doesn't know where the fabric is coming from. So if we can, all of us who are working are making really a conscious effort to see, give more authentic information about the weavers. So you can actually ask questions from wherever you buy. Otherwise, if you have any particular questions which you really want to make a purchase and you're not sure, please send me an email or a WhatsApp message. I can actually help you with a little more information. If I know about the weavers, I would be able to definitely help you with more information. But it is now very streamlined. you will not be taken for a ride. And Powerloom fabrics do not have any authentication. Powerloom fabrics don't have any tag except that the fiber tag, whether it is cotton or synthetic or silk or whatever. But otherwise, all the handlooms will have these government tags. Yes.
Thank you. I think a couple of people asked this question, but Mr. Venu put it together really well. So I'll just read from his question. Staying away from the motherland, how can we support this good purpose? Any websites that genuinely support the weavers that you suggest, or the process of adoption of weavers that you mentioned just now? And a couple of other people asked if you could share some websites for online shopping and a list of handloom stores in different states as well. So if you have any resources, that would be great.
The first resource, if you are curious now, I know I have kind of ignited, a big purpose in your life. So please do visit the Ministry of Textiles website, Ministry of Textiles, Government of India. That is one website. And there is Tribes India, tribesindia.com, I think. So Tribes India also is a very, very beautiful, and it is more authentic towards the tribal people. You know, tribal people have these limited editions. It's beautiful. Like, even if you talk about like harvesting honey, you know, they would do it so naturally. So your Tribes of India website will have you products like honey, turmeric, and all these millets and all that in very, very small quantities, because their land holdings are small, their enterprises are small. So they'll give you very organic, though they are not certified organic, but believe me, they don't need to be certified. They have been organic, you know, time immemorial. Now, as far as the question of adopting or supporting Weavers' Pockets is, the first thing is I would request all of you, and especially Mr. Venu, is try and buy handcrafted handloom as much as you can. In 2013, when I presented my thesis, I requested people to pledge 25% of your clothing budget to handloom and khadi. So you can make your own, rule as to, okay, I'm going to buy every 2 purchases I make, the third purchase would be handloom handcrafted or something like that, a particular, some madness, personal madness that can go on. And we all have in our life that, you know, we say that some households give their, children this particular rule that, you know, when you start earning, you keep 10% aside for the benefit of the society. So that 10%, for every 100 rupees, 10 rupees, you will keep it aside as, you know, maybe you want to, empower a child in his education, or empower, maybe a pandit who wants to learn his Vedic thing, or you want to empower your maid's children for education, whatever it is. So if we can make a pact with ourselves that, you know, certain budget or so many purchases versus handloom purchase is going to be like this is possible. And a lot of these, like if you are talking about bed sheets and bed covers, home textiles, believe me, you can change your, curtains and upholsteries every 5 years if you want to use handlooms, and they'll be beautiful. And the old curtains and all that, you can recycle them into, some other product. Like there is one pocket in Maharashtra, which is actually recycling old saris into quilts. You know, that's also very traditional of India. You know, old saris become quilts, you know, they call godris or gongadi or whatever. So that is possible. So invest in as much as you can. And I can share, you know, after maybe this webinar, I can share with Anita a few websites where you can directly go into the Weavers' Pockets and see what they exactly need and stuff like that. But let me caution you, you just need to do a little bit of homework. You don't want to jump and, just, kind of fund anybody or just donate. Please just don't blindly donate. Do a little bit of reading, and then you can, fund them. And you can actually say that, I will fund a loom, like every 2 months of in a fiscal year, I can fund 2 looms. And that fabric, you can convert that fabric into another donation. Like there are a lot of homeless and people in India. So in winter, they need blankets and thick bed sheets. So a Huzurabad weaving pocket, you can actually take 2 looms or 3 looms, whatever is your capacity, and get those bed sheets woven very specifically. You can actually give them your designs and your colors and say that this is coming from so-and-so family for the homeless, and you can donate. So there's so many ideas. We can take this offline and I can actually handhold you to understand where your donations can go. Thank you so much. Appreciate the thought.
Yeah, I think we have time for one more question. So Mrs. Sailaja asked, other than buying, is there any suggestion on how we can support uplifting the handloom industry? So this is in line with the whole sustainability and mindful consumption theme that we were talking about as well just now.
Yeah, this whole thing about consciousness and picking the right fabric and picking something from the grassroots and trying to what you call encourage, support, help weavers. It's also about conscious consumption. Can we consume a little less than what we are consuming right now? Can we recycle? Suppose if we have saris or old bed sheets or old curtains, can we recycle them and start using as something else at home? Because you all must have experienced this, that our bed sheets used to turn into the pocha fabric or doormats or whatever it is, and then even nicely washed cotton dupattas become hand towels for wrapping children when they are bathed and stuff like that. So I think there is no honestly, if you buy a natural fiber handloom cloth, it is not ready to go to the grave for the next, I think, 25, 30 years. If you use it properly, it is going to be there with you for 25, 30 years. So if you bring down your consumption and pick the right kind of fabrics and also the right kind of ingredients that go into making the handlooms, whether it is cotton, hemp, or flax, or whatever it is going to be with you for a very, very long time. And I guess this can be extended to the products which we use at home, like not using plastic, and also not using, yesterday was Varalakshmi Puja. So instead of giving, these plastic haldi kumkum cases, if you can just go to Tribes India website or, any other handcrafted website, and you can just buy these little, brass containers, which are very specifically made for haldi kumkum. And also for, in Hyderabad, we have this Lakh bangles. They have started making a lot of products. So instead of, trying to buy 100 of those plastic things, just buy 50 of these authentic stuff. And then you can see that, it'll go into a household and it'll sit very nicely in a certain space. And, and there is less plastic. And also plates, instead of using plastic plates and, disposables, if you can just cut it down and take it to maybe leaf plates or, something like that. So I don't want to say paper plates again, because again, paper plates are another hazard to the environment. Yeah. So there are so many things. And the limitation of this time on, on the webinar is not sufficient to kind of give you all the options. But if you have any questions, I'm available on email, sharmila.nagraj@gmail.com, or you can take my number from Anita and we could have this one-on-ones. I'm ready to help. I have made a mission. My time is also mentoring youngsters and also, hand-holding people who really want to contribute. My contribution is that. My contribution is helping people who want to contribute. So that is my time to the earth. So yeah, hope it helps.
Thank you. I think we're getting a couple more questions, so maybe we'll just keep some time for those as well. So Mr. Venu asked, as someone who can't honestly connect with clothes, I have a serious question. Does change your wardrobe mean add a new wardrobe or replace your wardrobe? I hope it is the latter. Might I suggest giving one away before buying another?
Absolutely. That's I think, Mr. Venu, I think we have been given that as a very good thought while we are growing up. At least, some of us have really followed that, keeping our wardrobe to minimum, and also make way for new clothes. I would suggest that, you first donate 3 or 4, different pieces of clothing to somebody before you bring one inside. So that way you are decluttering. I'm telling you, if you have more stuff, it'll give you a constant headache. So please do make, I know why Venu is asking this question. I know, the beautiful intent behind it, but I'm sure there's so much like that is happening in everybody's life. Some women are like that, some men are like that. But I think if you just make a pact with yourself that for every new purchase you do, you will actually give away 4 to 5 pieces of your cloth. And let me tell you, don't succumb to that 4-letter word. The 4-letter dangerous word is sale, S-A-L-E. So if you make a pact with yourself saying that I will not buy anything on sale, 70% of your shopping will come down. You buy because it is on sale, as if it is going to be ever available. Every 2 months there is a sale. So this is actually driving us to compulsive buying behavior. Yes, on the other hand, I know retail therapy is a very good therapy compared to psychiatrist therapy, but then you can go window shopping. Window shopping is as much therapeutic as actual buying too. So please don't succumb to that 4-letter word. Tell that I am not going to buy anything on sale. Believe me, it is going to liberate you. It is going to give you that high in life which you have never ever experienced. So you are buying stuff which is coming from an ethical store, a fair trade store, a natural fiber. You will not make mistakes. You will thank yourself. Every time you buy this fabric, you will thank yourself because you have been responsible and you have supported somebody. Just getting that compliment, and actually not getting a compliment, but giving yourself a compliment that your purchase has actually empowered somebody. Somebody is eating a meal because of you. That's a great space to be. Thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, we have one more question in the chat box. If anyone has any other pressing questions, feel free to raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can just speak to Dr. Sharmila directly. So Ms. Sunita asked, protecting artisans and their talent, in that aspect, do you suggest any other approaches, Dr. Sharmila ji, as we as NRIs, what can we do to protect their talent and the artisans?
One thing, Sunita Garu, is it? Sunita ji?
Yeah.
So that's thank you for asking that, and thank you for wanting to know more. The one thing I think you should do is to start talking to children about what exactly is handcrafted, what exactly is handmade, and why exactly we need to kind of look at these sectors at all. And what can we do? What can we do is basically incorporate these things consciously into our daily lives, whether it is a puja or a birthday party or any giveaways or revamping your curtains, or even doing something around your kitchen. There is so much that is also available for kitchen usage. So Etikopaka, I don't know if you know, there is a woodcraft in Etikopaka. And that has actually traditionally been for toys. So please gift these toys to young children. They've started making tic-tac-toes or Vaikuntapali. I don't know if you have heard about Vaikuntapali. So they have those dices, they have those pawns. Chess is made in Etikopaka wood, and also canisters. They make some beautiful canisters in Etikopaka wood. So your kitchen will look beautiful because they use natural dyes again, and such bright colors, of reds, yellows, and greens and blues. And we being Indians, one thing about us is we are so vibrant in accepting colors. We are not black, white, and gray people. We are colors. We adopt colors, and we don't shy away from colors. So you can bring as much color as possible or permissible into your wardrobe, into your house, and also educate our children, people, especially the teenagers, young adults, if they can, contribute. Send your children to these pockets as internship or something as diaspora visiting, whatever is possible. You can tell me if there is a bunch of kids, I can host a tour, a textile tour. I can take them around, show them different weaving pockets, of course, post-pandemic, and once we are all vaccinated and all that stuff, keeping the safety protocol on the top. So there are many ideas of those. And of course, when you come to India, make sure that you visit these weaving pockets or artisan pockets, and take your children around and show them what Indian legacy is. And actually now, if we, the last 1.5 years, let me give you the good news. The good news is there was a lot of these young artisan children who had come to the cities. They didn't want to be in the craft. They wanted to be in the city for whatever reason, and they could take up any job. They were auto rickshaw drivers, they were hamalis, they were security guards. And believe me, that's not respectful. That's not respectful at all. But they wanted, that continuous income. At the end of the month, I wanted to have a paycheck, that kind of a thing. But now with pandemic, they have all gone back. They've all gone back to their villages, and now they see the meaning of such low tech, which outputs such brilliance. Now, we are talking about WT work or WFH, work from home. Our weavers have been working from home, God knows from when. They were at home, they were doing such meaningful activity. The children were around them. They were learning so much, about the craft. And it was such a beautiful circular economy, and it was such a beautiful learning system. Now the people have come to the city, and there are all these lifestyle ailments, young people, 30, 32, 35-year-old, complaining of high blood sugars, blood pressure, high cholesterols, and stuff like that. Why? Because they are here all by themselves. They're eating out. They are working 12 to 14 hours, no rest. They are crunched in matchboxes for their, living. What do you expect? There is no free air to breathe. Where they come from is like acres of land. Backyard is like 4 acres, 5 acres. Here they come like even 5 feet. They are not away from another human being. So I think if we can really use this opportunity to give more work to artisans, they will actually start training their children all over again. And there will be much more rural in the rural. So my thesis also was pledging that let's keep the rural in the rural, because it is very, very important that they stay there. Because if they don't stay there, they are not going to be happy. They're not going to be healthy. They're going to come to the cities, and they're going to choke the cities. And it is not a good scenario at all for a healthy, happy, globe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sharmila, for your gracious answers. I think we have one more question, and then we'll move on to the final note. So sorry for extending beyond 5 p.m.
Thank you for an insightful session, Sharmila Garu. Today I got to know about so many new things, the biometric session, the chakra alignment, and it was very new for me. And I just want to know one thing. What is the reason the kids of the weavers, they want to leave to the rural areas?
Can you repeat? Can you be a little louder? It's just
sure.
Very...
maybe I'll just come out.
Yeah. I just want to check, why do the kids of the rural India of the weavers, why do they want to go into the city and not continue into the weaving?
That's a very valid question, and please be ready to be overwhelmed, because this is one particular aspect of Indian society which has really ruined the life of rural artisans. The one thing is, let me tell you a small story. Where I was living earlier in my own apartment in Hyderabad, I had a security guard. And whenever I used to run my studio as well there. So whenever he used to come into my house on some, like maybe he's getting a mail to deliver or something like that, he would come inside and he would look at the fabrics in a very loving manner, and he would to ask me questions. What is this? What is that? And then in my enthusiasm to share about handloom, I would hand over a piece of fabric to him and say, hold this, you feel this. And he would caress the fabric in such a way as if it's a baby, And then I asked him, what were you doing before you came to the city? He said, I was a weaver. And that really kind of, shattered my thing, because he seemed to be a very good weaver, the way he was interacting with the fabric. Then I asked him, oh, that's very sad. I will install a loom here. Can you please, start weaving? I'll make sure whatever you're earning as a security guard, I will make sure that you will get that much and much more. He just simply said, no, Amma, I can't do it, because before I became a security guard, I was a construction worker. And in construction, when you go and, handle the rubble and handle the baskets and stuff like that, your hands become very rough, and your, almost the fingerprints are no more there. They become like flat, like glass. And for yarn, for holding the yarn, you need a certain kind of dexterity. There needs to be that, वो नम होना चाहिए, fingers में जो वो बात होती है, that has gone. And he said, I can never go back to weaving because I have ruined my hands. I will take another maybe 6 months if I don't do any of these manual work and all that. I will get that back, but not my original hands. And then he said, what is there in the village? I don't get. He used to weave a very special fabric called putta batta. Putta is snake, snake hive. And during, the festival of Nagul Chauthi, Nag Panchami, people go to the place and they offer, whatever they have to offer. And they offer this red piece of cloth, which is like gamcha, like you call gamcha in the north. So he used to weave that fabric, special fabric for that particular festival all through the year. And you know what? Every single time he used to get that fabric to the cooperative, where they have to go and deposit the entire fabric, they would get a parchi. They would get a small piece of paper written 20, towels deposited. And on that, they will write a amount. They will write an amount. That's it. And he will have to hold that and come back next day morning to get his money, because the accountant is somebody who's different. So he doesn't have money to run his house. So you know what he will do? He will take that parchi of 20 towels with that price, say 200 rupees, 300 rupees. He will go to a pawn broker and he will deposit that parchi. So he will say that, this parchi is worth 300 rupees. So what the pawn broker does, he takes the parchi. Instead of giving him 300 rupees, he gives him 250 rupees. You're understanding the math? And then this guy takes the money and goes home, and the pawnbroker goes to the accountant. Next day morning, he gets 300 rupees for nothing. Just to dispense that 250 rupees, he is getting a commission of 50 rupees. Might not be exactly the same numbers, but that's how the atrocities are. And children have grown looking at these atrocities. They have seen their parents wake up 4 in the morning, and some of them didn't even have electricity. So they'll put a, the candle or, a chimney, and they weave the whole day. They will weave. And at the end of the day, they are making 300 rupees. At the same time, when you have a national highway being built, you get 350 rupees for working 6 to 8 hours. And at the end of the day, you are going to get that 350 rupees no matter what, and you're going to come home. So they are seeing that happening. It is hard labor, but then at the end of the day, you are definitely sure that you're going to get 350 rupees in your pocket. So obviously people are going to make those choices, and people have been taken for a ride. All these middlemen, the master weavers, they will come to the weavers and say, hey, I'm going to give you yarn, which is for 30 saris, weave this. And for that 30 saris, the weaver is going to get some amount, and the master weaver goes to the city, takes those 30 saris, sells them for double, triple, 4 times the price, but doesn't give the share of profit to the weaver. And all these people, the youngsters have seen, and they have seen because they've also come to the city. They have educated themselves. They are now, right now, everybody is on social media. They are watching the news, and they know what is happening in the world. So they're making choices. They're making choices, and they see that, no, I mean, there is no fair end to the day when they have really put their heart and soul into weaving that fabric. But the good news is, as I said, it's changing. So we are holding some of these youngsters, and we're trying to motivate them to come back to weaving. And we can do so much, as I say, but we can only do so much as well. So, but we should try to do some good things. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sharmila, for your answers once again. I'm sure all of us have learned a lot more through this interactive session, and it was a privilege to be part of this discussion. I will now hand over the time to Maitri Aunty, who will give her thoughts and deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of all those involved today.
Thank you, Katya. I think you did a beautiful sum up of the talk itself, so I have very little to say. But to begin with, thank you so much, Dr. Sharmila, for taking the time to speak to us today, to share your insights into the world of handlooms. We're most definitely enriched by the special H, the 14th vitamin. It was especially fascinating to learn about horoscope weaving. We're all truly blessed to know that not only are we unique beings because of our experiences, but we each have our own snapshot of the sky, of that moment in time that defines us. It is also interesting how you've studied and woven together spirituality, technology, physiology, and pure positive intent that can be transferred into fabrics, and that which actually physically touch us, and that energy that can be passed on to us through them. It was truly fascinating. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what is the rainbow of colors that my friends, my family, and I can create with the handlooms that you have. It's actually almost unfortunate that we have little access to the weavers per se. We have so many middlemen that we go through, but listening to what you have to say, I hope we are all encouraged to get in touch with them directly so that we can reach out to them and give them a helping hand. Thank you for giving us a bird's eye view into the weavers' efforts, their expertise, the process of weaving itself. I'm sure this is but a drop in the ocean of handlooms, and the bigger story. We hope to learn, understand, and of course, change our wardrobes to help them in our own little ways. Thank you so much, ma'am, for really enriching us and weaving your insights into our lives. I would also like to especially thank my friend Anita, who has been always instrumental in sharing her passion and encouraging women, not only in Singapore, but also across the world. And with today's talk, Anita, for your record, this is now global. I would also like to thank Katya for moderating today's session so immaculately. Fantastic job, Katya. Special thanks to Aparna for all the technical support for making today's talk seamless. I can't say this talk is complete without saying thanks to our supporters, especially the
You have to unmute yourself.
Try to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Did you miss something exciting that I said?
No, just now.
Okay, let me repeat. Today's talk wouldn't have been possible without the kind support of the president of the Telugu Samajam, Mr. Kotireddy, the president of the Telangana Cultural Society, Mr. Mahendra Reddy, president of the Kamala Club, Singapore, Mrs. Smita Vargantivar, and also Mrs. Purnima Kamath from D-Ideas. But most of all, thanks to all our friends and the audience. I have to say a special thanks to all the men who have made the time to listen to this. I know, like you mentioned, Dr. Sharmila, clothes are very close to a woman's heart, but it's fascinating to see how close they are to men's too. And thank you for all the support. And I hope we will be able to together encourage the cause and make the change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful. And thank you, Anita, for this wonderful audience. They have been very, very focused and very curious. I hope to leave you all with the thought that everything is possible. It's about beginning. So let's begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharmila, for the wonderful discussion. Thank you so much.